Okay, baltinerdist says that he spent a weird portion of his late teens being a rabid Wikipedia editor for the articles on Jesus, specifically in the historicity debate. And he asks, where do I come down on it? Was Jesus a real Messiah? Yada, yada, something else entirely. Yeah, I mean, I was expecting to eventually get a question like this, particularly because this is a strangely internet phenomenon, the disbelief in the historical figure of Jesus. From a sociological perspective, I find this phenomenon fascinating that many internet message boards you find just like overwhelming doubt that a historical figure of Jesus existed, but this doesn't map at all onto actual critical scholarship on Jesus and the Bible and so on. This is not debated in biblical scholarship or historians working on Jesus. The question is never really did he exist as a historical figure, but what did he actually do in history? What did he actually say in history? How well or poorly have the evangelists portrayed what he actually was like? So those kind of questions we have and we debate, but very seldom does the issue of him as a historical figure ever come up. And when you think about what basis this you could say this disbelief of Jesus comes from, I mean, it seems to me pretty tied into the belief in God, almost as if the idea is believing in God and believing in Jesus are somehow the same thing. But that's very much not the case. You don't have to believe in God to believe in Jesus. And when you think about the Christian confession, like you believe in Jesus, it doesn't mean the belief in him as a historical figure. To believe in Jesus means, if you switch the preposition, to believe on Jesus, to put your trust into Jesus. That's sort of what the Christian message is. But this is somehow maybe through some enlightenment kind of a twist turned into believing in Jesus as in believing in him as a historical figure. But yeah, the belief in God and belief in Jesus, these are not at all the same way that we debate these sorts of things. And maybe kind of a good analogy to it would be the belief or lack thereof in climate change. So, I mean, could you say that there are legitimate climate scientists who deny climate change or don't accept the standard model of climate change? Yes, there probably are a fair number of them. Are the great majority of people that deny climate change, are those people that have gone through the rigorous training to become a climate scientist to arrive at that perspective? Almost certainly not. um, so within the field of biblical scholarship, there's maybe one or two sort of famous or infamous scholars who place very little emphasis on the historical Jesus and look at him more of a mythical figure, but that is far smaller of a group than even, I would say, climate change denying scientists. And I think the analogy also fits with the popularity of the disbelief online. Have any of the people that have arrived at this conclusion done the rigorous scholarship required to arrive at that position? Definitely not. So believing in Jesus as a historical figure is not something that's really at stake in the field of biblical scholarship. And if someone doesn't want to be a Christian, then they don't have to be a Christian, but that doesn't have anything to do with whether or not Jesus existed as a historical figure. So other people might ask this question in different ways. So we'll see what other responses we get, and maybe I'll address those as well.